Scottie wins again. We got more live news. And are you looking to improve your game? Do you need a golf journal to do that? Well, we got the one just for you tonight on the Tavern. Welcome in, everybody.
What's going on?
How we doing tonight, Steve?
I'm all right. You?
I'm good. I had a fun weekend. Went to the Big Ten Championship. My team lost in an epic battle, but in the end, really won with their playoff seeding.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, they did.
You know what? I can't be too mad because I'd rather be where we are going into the championship than where Oregon is. And I think there's a lot of questions that come from that. But had a fantastic weekend here watching my Nittany Lions play. It was like a home game here. Oregon had a good showing, but there was a lot more Nittany Lion fans here in Indianapolis this weekend. And kudos to the Big Ten.
Easier trip there.
It is, and both teams travel well, and both teams have a great fan base that are a nice, polite, and great, gracious to the city that's hosting them. So it was a fun time this weekend. Shout out to St. Elmo's. Went there before. They put on a great party at St. Elmo's. If you haven't, check out their Barkeep vodka, their new vodka. It is phenomenal vodka. So how was your weekend, Steve?
Weekend was good. I spent Friday night in a tent, and it was 37 degrees, and I don't really want to ever remember that again. It was that miserable. Sunday night, I was actually at the Magic game. Our company had a suite there, so always fun to see the Magic win. Greg, your camera just disappeared.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. Can you still hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay.
Is your camera? There it is. We're back. All right. I do want to, before we get started tonight, unfortunately, some news broke this morning, and there was a lot of news that actually broke today, but some really unfortunate news broke this morning. And I know we're doing this PGA Show run, and I end up seeing this person every year at the PGA Show. Jeff Babineau passed away. He was a senior writer for Golf Week magazine. Had been on the Golf Channel for a while and ended up going to Golf Week. And I knew Jeff. He lived here in town in Central Florida. And we met, funny enough. We were on the shuttle bus from parking for the Hilton Grand Tournament here out at Lake Nona. And we met and had a really good conversation. I had the boys with me. And we were just sitting there chatting and talked about life, talked about golf, talked about what he does, talked about the blog. And this is before the podcast started. And we would always run into each other at the PGA Show. We would always have a good laugh, a good talk. And it's really sad. He was 62 years old, passed away from what they're saying is natural causes. And it's just a scary thought. So rest in peace, Jeff. You will greatly be missed. And I will miss seeing you at the PGA Show this year.
Cheers.
Cheers. Let's get into first round.
Well, he does it again, folks. You can't stop the man.
I don't understand. Here's what I don't get. It's like he's playing the old Tiger Woods golf where you could hole out on like every other hole and you just get the target line on and just whoop, goes in. And like it was just it's I don't quite grasp. I mean, you have obviously the best golfer since Tiger. No questions asked.
No, hands down.
Hands down. At this point, you have him at 82 weeks. He's 14 weeks as behind Greg Norman for third place all time for a number of weeks
I
in a
believe Norm was
consecutive time.
95 or 94 weeks.
96. I think he's 14 weeks
Something like
behind
that,
that. Scottie just does things that it's almost not fair. I mean, he changed his putting grip. I mean, what was the one weak point in his game was his putting. We all knew that.
which he's been improving. He's done subtle things. He went to the mallet putter. That was the big improvement last year, and he had all the wins. Now the grip is the change, seems like, this year.
I mean, starts the day behind Justin Thomas, just goes out and shoots 9 under and says, okay, I'll win. Wins by 6. And you're like, it's not supposed to be that easy. It's really not. Like, this game is hard. I'm excited about our guest tonight because she's doing things to try and make the game easier for beginners. And like, when you talk about what Scottie is doing, he's making it look like he's playing PlayStation.
He's just out there having fun. There's no thrill to Scottie. He's just Scottie doing Scottie. And he's out there playing golf, having fun. And you can tell that in his interviews and what he's doing every single week out there. He just enjoys the game of golf. He's not trying to do anything flashy. He's not trying to do anything too crazy. Like back in the day when Tiger was out there, Tiger knew he could hit any shot out there. And so he would try to hit any shot out there because he's like, you know what? I can make this crazy shot and do it. And he could pull it off. And that was what made Tiger Tiger. Whereas Scottie hits the same shot every time. Scottie plays his game and keeps it simple. And it's a great way to play golf. Sometimes it's a very boring game to watch when you're watching Scottie, though.
I need to look because I don't know this answer off the top of my head.
It was, I will say, Scottie is at 82 weeks as world number 1. Norman had 96. And then only a few more to catch Tiger in second, not Tiger in first, at 264 weeks.
So when Tiger turned pro, they were still playing the Tour Balata Ball. The Pro V1 didn't come around until 3 years later after Tiger's first win. And when you think about the fact that the Pro V1 allowed you to hit straight balls because you didn't have to curve it because of the balata and what you needed to do with hitting that balata ball, and you could work that ball way more than you can work the Pro V1 ever.
Different core.
Different core, rubber bands. So what Scottie is doing with a ball that flies straight, that everybody hits a ball that basically flies straight now, is crazy. I mean, the last time we saw him look stressed was when he was in handcuffs in Louisville.
And to be honest, didn't look that stressed, especially when he was at the only time was at the moment he was being put in the police car. Was the only time he was like, hey, call this guy. And that was the most stressed
I mean, when you look at what he's done over his career, he was a good player, steady player. It was almost shots fired, but
he does the same thing consistently. He improves. He doesn't try to improve too much. He takes one thing at a time, works on it, and plays his game and enjoys the game of golf. And that's what I enjoy about watching Scottie, is how much he enjoys playing golf.
Okay, I'm going to ask this question on December 10th. You're wearing the hat from there. Does Scottie put the green jacket on himself at the Masters this year?
It's his to lose. Let's be honest. Do I think he repeats? I think that's hard. But if he continues with this mentality that he has of just going out and playing and not letting things get to him and just playing his game, he's going to be tough to beat. So I would say, yes, he puts on the jacket again.
Okay, next. And then the last question I have about Scottie. He's the first player in 50 years in the 50 years of the Players' Championship to defend his title. Does he three-peat at Sawgrass?
That, I think, will actually be the harder thing to do. He thrives, and this is true. It's out there, and people say this against him, and I don't think it's against him, in shorter fields. In smaller fields is when he wins a lot of his stuff. He wins the signature events. He won this week in a field of 20. He won the Masters, was a smaller field last year than it's ever been.
Right.
He strives in those smaller fields. The Players is, but it's still doing anything 3 years in a row would be tough. If he does
The Players is actually the largest field on the PGA Tour.
that's what I thought. I thought it was one of the bigger ones.
Yeah.
But I know it's up there with the signature events too. So like it's that mini major out there. So that's I think going to be his toughest defend this year of all of them.
Yeah.
But
no, it makes sense.
I think he could if anyone can do it, Tiger and him are the ones that would be able to do that. And Tiger didn't get it back to back ever, so
right. Yeah.
Now, I'm going to ask you this question because everyone after he won the Masters was like, are we going to see a Grand Slam in the first year? Do you think if he doesn't get arrested this year at the PGA and he wins the Masters, do you think he can run the table this year?
Wow. If you're asking me Scottie versus the field for the majors for a Grand Slam, I'm taking the field.
Okay. What do you think is going to be his toughest opponent this year? And by that, I mean course. The Open, the U.S. Open, the PGA. I mean, I'm not
honestly,
I think that's.
I honestly think it'll be the Masters.
Okay.
Because of the pressure.
Okay, that's what I was going to say. Do you think it's because of the pressure that he has to repeat? But I think he handles that well. I mean,
again, he's won there before, so he already knows what to expect going back in. It's not like it was his first green jacket this year. But I honestly think that when you look at what he's doing, I mean, the one guy that you have to take is Xander after winning 2 last year. You have to look at that. I also think you're going to see Rory after his U.S. Open meltdown. I think you'll see Rory play well again at some point this year in a major. So, I mean, again, do I think it's his to lose? I'm still taking the field. If you're asking me today who I'm putting money on, I'm taking the field of Scottie versus a Grand Slam.
So I'm going to ask you this now, based on everything. Now we've talked about the majors. We've talked about how he's doing this year. Do you think he wins over under for Scottie's wins this year? What would you put the over under at for Scottie's wins this year? Okay, so you don't think he's going to do 7 again?
I mean, he won 9 times this year. 9 times. It's the same number of absences Ferris Bueller had.
So
that's the first Ferris Bueller joke on the show, by the way.
That is true. So you're putting it at 5.5 as the over under on Scottie this year. Okay. Yep. I think that's fair. So with that, I think that's a good segue into 9 times.
9 times.
I think I'd like to see him win 10. I mean, I would.
I mean, I would. Is it fun to watch? It is. I think that you run into this. You know, it's Scottie versus the world. But I also think there are tournaments, and I'll say this, he defends at Bay Hill here in town this year. Another event that is really tough to win 2 years in a row. I think the only player that's done that is, well, no, Matt Every did it and Tiger's done it. Because I think Tiger won it, I don't know, 100,000 times or something ridiculous. He won Bay Hill. But I think that you're going to see, courses like Sawgrass is always tough to play and can get anybody to win. And the weather in March could be anything, and that could be the determining factor at the Players' Championship. The majors, what's the weather? What's the draw? The Open. I'd set it at 5.5. That's where I think is mine. Greg, did you freeze? And Greg's having issues like Dave does. So with that being said, we are going to jump into happy hour then. Well, it happens on the show. So let's jump into happy hour. I'm pretty excited. We've got a really cool guest tonight. So let's where's this? You know, I don't normally run these. Here we go.
Here, right? Okay.
All right. So while Greg works on getting back and hanging out with us, it is my pleasure to welcome Heather Schwartz, founder, CEO, and all-around cool person from Swing Scribe. So, Heather, please welcome to the tavern. How are you tonight?
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here. This seems like such a cool show.
It is. We have a lot of fun with it. So, yeah, thank you for joining us. So, let's start. We ask this of all of our guests when they come on. So, the first question that I have for you is, what is Swing Scribe?
So, Swing Scribe is the easiest, most friendly golf journal in the market right now, where you can record and organize all of your swing thoughts. So imagine you're on the golf course and you've got all of these things going on in your head, right? When you're about to swing the ball or you're driving up to your ball. Swing Scribe takes the guesswork out of golf, and it keeps everything really nice and easily organized for you in a convenient yardage style book. So you don't have to guess anymore. You don't have to think about it anymore. It's right there for you.
That is amazing. So it's basically, and at one point in my life, I tried to play this game competitively, and having yardage book and having that yardage book cover with your notes and everything else in it. So it's kind of like that for the every golfer.
Exactly. Except when you think about a yardage book is hole by hole, right? It's for a specific golf course. Okay, well, a lot of people play multiple golf courses, and a lot of people are not advanced enough to use a yardage book properly. And they really want something that's more dynamic. So the Swing Scribe was created to be club by club instead of hole by hole.
Okay. All right. Greg, welcome back to the tavern. Greg.
Sorry, had my internet blipped out there for a second. It's Netflix. Someone was playing Netflix and it just slowed us everything down. So
yeah, it's a Tyson fight. What do you expect? Greg, we are on your first question here.
Okay. So, Heather, what made you start Swing Scribe?
Yeah, this is a funny story. I want to beat my husband.
On the golf course.
On the golf course, yeah, of course. You know, we're pretty competitive with each other, and he's a pretty good golfer. So I really aspire to beat my husband. So I need every advantage possible. So I had to create something.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But what happened? So I grew up in New Jersey, moved to Florida.
Me too.
Did you really? Which part?
I was born in Princeton, New Jersey. I grew up in like South Brunswick, that area.
Oh, cool. Okay. So I grew up in Vineland, New Jersey.
Okay, I know where that is. Yep.
Way down south. Yeah.
Yep.
It's funny when people ask me, "Oh my gosh, you're from New Jersey, cool," and then I say Vineland, they're like, "Yeah, we don't know where that is."
Yeah, you usually describe by one of the big areas, like you probably say like Atlantic City, and then
yeah.
So
they're like, "What exit?" I'm like, "No, you don't."
No,
understand.
I hate that question.
We're beyond the exits. So grew up in New Jersey. I played golf when I was in high school. My grandfather gifted me golf lessons, which was extremely helpful for me in life when I was 15. Played golf. Ended up moving down to Miami when I was 19 years old. And then I lived in Miami for about 20 years. And then I did the whole, start a family, had a career, didn't have a lot of time for golf. Ended up moving to Naples, which is where we live right now. And Naples is, one of the golf capitals of the country, right? And I think we have over 100 golf courses down here. I have the time now to play golf. So I was taking lessons and I noticed, I'm a huge note taker. So I noticed that the only thing that I had to take notes was either a little notebook that you can get at the dollar store or a yardage book. But there was nothing that was organized for me. And I'm a little OCD. I like to take notes. So I created Swing Scribe.
Nice. You are close to my least favorite golf course in the state of Florida down there in Naples.
Which one?
Old I don't know. It's just the hardest golf course I've ever played.
Yeah,
it's
I like Calusa Pines down there, so that's,
well, yeah, who
that
doesn't?
was one of my favorite ones.
Old Corkscrew, it's like you have wind in your face every single hole. It's so
Yes.
hard. Yes. Yeah.
It's just not a fun golf course to
It's
play.
hard. It's hard.
Yeah.
I had the privilege of playing Naples National on Sunday.
Ooh,
And whew, that's a tough course.
nice. A buddy of mine was in Mayaka today at a
Uh-huh.
new course opening. They're opening a new private club there.
Yeah.
And he literally was raving about it. I'm going back with him in a couple months. I got to play it. So
Really nice. Well, the private golf course market here in Naples is like unlike any other. I mean,
That's true.
membership initiation fees are around the 100,000 at a low end to, I don't know, $1 million.
Initiation fees have gone through the roof since
Since
COVID and everyone. Yep.
Yep. My son, my youngest, is 8. He has just started taking golf lessons. So my question with something like Swing Scribe, how does that help the newest of golfers?
Yeah, I mean that's a perfect question. That was me. So when you're taking a lesson, you're on the driving range for, let's call it, an hour or so. And your golf instructor is giving you a lot of detailed information. If you don't write that down or record it somehow and you walk away and come back to that lesson, let's call it a week later or a couple days later, what are the chances that you're going to retain everything that your golf instructor gave you? Right? It's pretty low. So if you're looking to improve your game at a pretty rapid pace and remember what you're supposed to be doing, then, I mean, this is the perfect tool. So I noticed that a lot of people, they use little pieces of paper to write things down, or, they'll use a little notebook. Like I said, you can get at the dollar store, but it's not organized. Like I see people just, with clumsy pieces of paper shoved in their golf bag. So that was another reason why I created Swing Scribe, because everything's so organized.
Yeah.
It's literally page by page. So each club has its own page where you can write down exactly what you need to do when you're driving or when you're, with your 7-iron, whatever the club is, you've got a space for that.
So speaking of that, I mean, we talked about Scottie earlier, and like we know some tour players, and they're always out there. They know their yardages. They know how long they hit everything. So how does Swing Scribe help the average golfer or the new and upcoming golfer track everything and be prepared when they're on the course? So like you just said, you have different clubs. So how does that help them when they're on the course?
Yeah. So, I mean, you brought up probably one of the most important things in golf is you have to know your yardages, right? You have to know which club to use when you pull up to your next shot, right? Thinking about that mentally. So I have a yardage matrix built in. Oops, sorry. I've got quarter swing, half swing, 3/4 swing, teed up for every single club. There's some space where you can add in if I haven't accounted for a club. So all of that guesswork, again, is taken out. So you've got everything at your fingertips and know exactly which club to grab. So,
I love that you have that quarter swing and half swing in there,
yeah,
because I think most people don't put that down. They just know I hit a 7-iron this far,
right.
but not I hit it at a quarter swing this far. That's
Exactly.
cool.
And here's another thing, like what I've learned in golf, and this is a personal thing, like it's about feel. So if I have a 50-yard approach, I can use a few different clubs to get me on to accomplish that shot. So taking into account the quarter swing, or if I go to the page of the club, let's say I'm going to do a bump and run with a 9-iron or something, like how far back do I take it? And I think in terms of clocks. So if I'm, lined up, so am I going to take it back 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, the 3 o'clock would be the quarter swing. Again, I've got all that stuff written down. So I don't have to guess every time that I'm about to take a shot.
You know what's funny? You know what's funny about that thought process is that's how Bryson actually thinks about it too. When he talks about, that's how, if you ever listen to Bryson talk about it, like he's like, I need to take it back to 9 o'clock, or I need to take it back to, that's where he's trying to go to, is that's how he thinks it. And I mean, he's smarter than any of the rest of us. I'll just say that the dude is a genius. So a little weird, but a genius. I'm
a math person too. So I mean,
you take that guesswork out of it for most people, which is Like you can't, no one can remember it. And that's, I think golf is so overwhelming that this is just something that I got right there in the palm of my hand that I can just reference real quick.
Right. And it's a huge confidence builder, because if you're not doubting, okay, if I have to take that 7-iron and get it to, let's call it 135 or 140, like, you know that you've already done that several times on the driving range. Yeah. You're not second guessing yourself.
Yep.
You know, I mean, something else, like, you know, we see tons of content online. Facebook Reels, Instagram Reels, TikToks, like, you're getting so much golf advice from so many places. Some of it works, some of it doesn't work. But again, like, once you're on to the next reel, how are you going to remember what you saw, I don't know, 20 minutes ago? Like, so again, it's a great tool. It's easy. Write your stuff down.
100%.
All right. So next question for you. We are big fans of custom.
Oh, yeah.
Custom golf product. We're big on that.
Yeah.
So are the yardage book, I'm going to call them yardage book covers because they look like, but are the covers customizable?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So I have a selection of colors and themes online. Actually, I'm very proud. I did a partnership with the Girls Golf Foundation.
Oh, nice.
I don't know if you can.
Nice.
Yep.
Okay. There we go. Yep.
Yep. So we're partners of them. We help fundraise for them. We provide, the swing scribe for them. But yeah, that can be customized, and also the notebook can be customized. So we just did books for a finance symposium here in Naples as a speaker gift. So there's a lot of different applications that can be used for this. But yeah, I'm a huge fan of getting things customized.
That's
and I
awesome.
mean, it could be a good sponsor opportunity. So if there's,
e-gift,
e-gift, or if you're a corporate sponsor and you want to be able to give these out yourself, be like, wealth management firms. We're doing partnerships with First Tee and Girls Golf, where we're partnering with local companies. They're putting their name right on the cover, and then we're giving these out for free. So there's all kinds of ways to get these things customized.
That's awesome. I'm going to ask this only because I feel like this is a really cool Christmas gift idea. Are you guys doing any specials right now for the holidays, leading up to the holidays, for a Christmas push?
Well, I created a coupon code for you guys called
That's the best. We love that. Hold on. I'm going to get a banner running on the bottom of the screen here while you do that. Hold on.
Yes. I created a coupon code so you can get $5 off. Use it as much as you want. It applies to the notebooks, to the cover, to the combo, but all you have to do is put in Golfing Dads, and you've got that discount. Yeah.
So
you heard it here. $5 off Golfing Dads.
One word or two words?
One word, Golfing Dads, one word altogether. And the retail price on these is anywhere between $15 for just the book, for just the notebook. If you want to do the notebook and the cover, it's $35. So this is actually a perfect gift to give to a golfer friend or
$10. Awesome. That's awesome to get this for you. So we're talking about the PGA show that's coming up here in January. So we're bringing on people that have been there before, people that are also new to the PGA show, and you're a new exhibitor to the PGA show. So what made you to dive in and jump into the PGA show this year? What made you decide to do that?
This is the Mecca of golf. I mean, this is exactly where I need to be.
Nice.
Listen, I love golf. Like, it's so fun, and it helps me on so many different levels. Like, just, personally playing it as a hobby and a passion. I love it. And it just helps, that I have a business associated to it. But yeah, this is probably one of the most exciting things in golf, aside from going to the Masters, right? Or going to another major. Yeah. How could I not go?
That is true.
And I'm very grateful that I was accepted into the innovators division or section. So I think I'm going to be amongst some really cool companies. I'm going to meet incredible people there. Hopefully I get to meet you guys face to face.
Yep.
So, 100%.
Yep. I feel like your product, there's a lot of golf instructors who are going to be at the show, would really want to have their students using your product.
Sure.
I feel like it helps them really long-term track their progress, track their round, know what they're doing. How excited are you to get in front of all these PGA instructors to show what Swing Scribe is?
yeah, this is the perfect person for me to partner with. So I was at the LPGA Amateurs Championship earlier this year. Got tons of amazing feedback from a lot of the teaching pros there. I mean, this is the perfect tool for them to use in their schools and with their students. Again, because it can be customizable or customized. And also, this is something that helps their students retain the information from the lesson that they're learning and advance through golf quicker.
So this is now your first time you were at, you just said at the LPGA, and this is your first time at the show. So what are you looking forward to most at the show, whether it's from a standpoint of your company or just the mecca that it is? It can be very overwhelming. What are you
or meeting us? Meeting us could be up there too. We're okay with that.
That's number one. But no, I mean, I'm excited to see what other products are out there. Of course, I'm excited to meet interesting people that I can do business with and partner with. That's number one. But I'm also excited as a golfer to see what kind of cool products are out there. Like, this is the place to launch your newest and coolest product. So, I mean, if you like golf, this is where you need to be in January.
Yeah, this is the fun thing that we love about it is you get to network with people, and it's about helping everyone out. Everyone at the show wants to help everyone else out. So it's just a fun place to be.
Yeah, I've noticed golfers as a whole, like some of the friendliest people, some of the nicest people. And I do get that vibe that everybody wants to help each other out. Right. I mean, because the struggle is real with golf.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, Scottie Scheffler, like you guys were saying earlier, like it just doesn't seem real when he plays. He's so good.
No. Yeah.
He's probably an AI underneath.
Probably, yeah.
Good.
He's one of the new Tesla robots from Elon. The week at the show is always a super busy week for anyone who's attending, whether it's the attendees, the media, the exhibitors, PGA members, guests. One of the things we've been asking, what's your goal for the week?
Okay, well, I'm bringing a lot of products with me, so I want to sell out of all my products. But my goal is really forming those partnerships. And I do have a sales goal of orders that I would like to take. So, I'm putting that on my sales board. So I would love to achieve that. I have a feeling that I am going to meet some incredible people that are really going to get the brand of Swing Scribe out there. But also, ultimately, this is just such a great tool to help people get more confidence on the golf course and learn golf.
I'll tell you, if I was a teaching professional, I would want to have like a custom one that I could give to my students there. And you're going to see a lot of teaching professionals at the show. And we know some too, so hopefully we'll introduce you to some. But I think that would be a great tool because, like I put up here before from Bradley, he said adult learners only retain 20% of what they learn most of the time. So being able to write all that down is great. So,
well,
you know what? I really quickly, I'm just trying to figure out how much Bradley actually retains knowing him. I think that's probably 2%. But
another thing worth mentioning, because I know a lot of people use apps, and that's fine. I'm not saying one is better. Everybody is different. But when you write something down, something happens in the brain where it enhances your memory. So you're able to retain information better because think about it, it's not so static as when you're typing. Like that's static. You have more dynamic when you're writing. So that helps retain information. So writing is powerful in many ways.
Yeah.
And I just love that I love using my phone. I do love apps, but on the golf course, I like that I can just flip to it. I don't have to search through something. Yeah. I don't have to use a search engine or something. On the golf course, I can go, hey, 7-iron, boom, there it is. And I think that's a great thing that your product brings that is missing from this industry.
Sure. So here's a couple things. Like my husband doesn't even use his phone when he's playing golf. Like he'll put the phone in his bag and it's, do not talk to me for 3 hours outside of who's ever in the golf cart. But another thing that I found out is a lot of like high school kids, college kids cannot have their phone out on the golf course if they're engaged in a match. So this is very helpful. I was in Pine Needles in North Carolina for the Girls Golf National Championship in June, and I could see all the kids because every qualifier got one. I could see all the kids using their golf journal on the golf course because you're not allowed to have a phone. So that's another big advantage. Yeah.
That's so. If someone is looking to find you and find Swing Scribe, where can they get a Swing Scribe?
Yeah, so really easy. www.swingscribe.com. We're on Instagram under Swing Scribe. We're on Facebook under Swing Scribe. I've got a LinkedIn. I've got a YouTube. I've got a TikTok. I'm still building my TikTok. You know, TikTok is new for me.
I don't have a TikTok. Steve has a TikTok and he runs ours.
I do.
That's what.
It's a rabbit hole. Like TikTok is a rabbit hole. Like you just all of a sudden you're like, oh, 30 minutes just went by. I've been on TikTok for 30 minutes.
I gotta have my 13-year-old run my TikTok.
It's probably, you know what? You probably get more followers at that point. I should have my kids do it. So
I probably would. I don't know. Listen, guys, this is just so much fun. Like I have tons and tons of fun. I love helping people. I love improving my own golf game. I love seeing other people improve their golf game. And this is fun. It's a fun product.
Well, I'm going to tell you this. First off, thank you for joining us tonight. I'm actually, you know what I'm excited for is that I can't wait to come meet you at the show and us to put a Swing Scribe on TikTok.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
So we're going to do that. So, that's what we're going to do. We're going to do a Swing Scribe on TikTok at the show. So that's the deal. So
I love it.
Awesome. Well, Heather, thank you for joining us tonight. Do me a favor. Don't beat your husband too badly.
I'm still pretty wide on that one, which is probably better for our relationship anyway.
Yeah. So,
but the Swing Scribe is closing that gap. So
it is. Yeah, it is. There you slowly. Go. Yeah, I'll tell you. Like, so a couple years ago, I was probably a 21 handicapped. I'm down to a 16.
That's fantastic.
Awesome.
You know? Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you.
That's fun. You know what? And it's funny because we just like if you play fast, you want to have fun. That's how we like to play golf. So that's, I will tell you, I don't know that your husband would like us in a golf cart because we use our phones and listen to music on the golf course. So that does happen in our carts. So
yeah, that's it.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Happy holidays. Have a great Christmas. And we will see you. We will see you in January.
Okay. Yes. Good. Cheers.
Thanks.
So I will tell you that is a great product if you are just getting into the game or have been in the game for a while. Like this is something that I'm going to start using out there, and it gives you so much data that you can have that you don't have to just remember and overthink. You can just look, boom, that's what I do, and execute it on the golf course. So if you're struggling out there, check out Swing Scribe. Use Golfing Dads for $5 off and just start using that tool. The more data you get and can analyze, it really helps your game. I will tell you. If you really want to improve
I'm surprised that the Orlando golfer hasn't started listing and attaching people on here that need to order this already to help their game.
I know.
That sounds like something that he would do.
Dave one for Christmas. We should buy Dave one for Christmas.
We should buy Dave. Yeah, but will it even help? Does Dave know how to write?
He does. So we'll get him. He's good with numbers. So we'll get him, and it'll help improve his game. Remember, that's our goal for this year is to get Dave's handicap down. And I think this is going to be a good tool to do that. So, all right, you ready for Smack of the Week?
I am ready for it. We're going to jump right into it. This Smack of the Week is brought to you by this one it almost hurts to watch because you feel for the person. I'm just going to leave it at that.
I haven't seen this one in advance, so God help us. Oh, I have seen this one.
Wait for it. Wait for it. I don't even know. Like, I saw that and I was just like, no.
You know, we're all rooting for that to go in. Like
we are. I mean, $10,000
no golfer is watching someone do that as they want to do it themselves, but you're rooting for anyone that gets that close.
Correct. And all of a sudden, horseshoes on you, and you're like, no.
That is tough.
That was tough to watch. So, We've got an interesting. Never thought that the Golfing Dads Tavern would go off of a Bloomberg article, but that's where we're going to go in last call.
I find it so funny that we have been so pro PGA and we've criticized Live for so long, but I feel we talk about Live more sometimes on this show because of just the news and how it's portrayed and what's out there. And here we go again.
So news broke this morning, and you got a text message from me immediately because it came up as an alert on my phone first, and I think that was the only reason I sent it first. That Bloomberg put an article up today that said that the deal is near, and that the Sovereign Wealth Fund is in advanced talks for roughly 6% stake in the PGA Tour,
which is the same as the
strategic
deal with
SSG.
Yes,
SSG, Strategic Sports Group. I'm just wondering how much more money Steve Cohen has, by the way, after investing in that and in Juan Soto, or is that too soon, Greg?
Hey, no, I like Cashman said, the Yankees put out a good offer. The Mets just put out a little bit better of an offer. And you and I talked about this earlier. I think it's getting too much where, and I don't blame a player for this. They're not playing for the game and for a team. They're playing for a paycheck, which I don't blame them for. I would love to see some. I don't want to see these players get traded and moved around so much. Like, there needs to be some movement, but there's too much movement with free agency and everything.
Correct.
That it's even gotten to college.
Yes.
So this deal that we've been talking about for 2 years now, since the birth of this show.
Right. Like, between this
finally
and the golf ball
together?
rollback, we're in advanced talks. I'm just going to quote it. The Sovereign Wealth Fund is in advanced talks about taking a roughly 6% stake in the tour's commercial arm, said the people, who asked not to be identified because the information is private. An agreement, if reached, would come after months of negotiations and follow a deal inked earlier this year with SSG, which can invest as much as $3 billion in PGA Tour enterprises.
Now, do you think this deal comes because they have not named the new CEO of Live yet? There have been the rumors that we've. No, I don't think they've named him yet.
I thought they came out that was done. That was a done deal.
I didn't think it was official. I haven't seen an official statement on it. I've seen just some rumors that we even talked about on here. But is that whole move and this going to happen at the same time, do you think?
So I think there's a lot of moving parts. I think we talked about it on this show already after Norman said that he was stepping down and it came out that they were looking for a new CEO. I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that there's been progress here, because I do think that the big fish that's sitting at we'll call him the big cat sitting at the head of the table in those meetings, in Tiger, would not negotiate or do anything with Norman in the room.
Yeah.
There was 0% chance that was happening. So I think that there's that progress alone is, I think, part of what's leading to this. I also think that when you look at the PGA Tour, knew that they couldn't beat the PIF in the court system. We've talked about that before on here. I mean, when you have the money that the PIF has, the tour is, the tour is sitting there with a lot at stake. They were hedging money ahead out of this to fight the lawsuit. I think the number is up to 50 million, and of attorneys just getting richer and richer to fight this lawsuit. So at that point, you've got to do something. And there are very few entities. And again, how many sports owners, including John Henry, who is one of the wealthiest, and Steve Cohen, two of the wealthiest owners in professional sports, coming together to get in on this group with SSG. It took how many people to come together when you just have to go and have a conversation with one person when it becomes in Yasser where it's the PIF. I do think that the tour is in a good spot right now. I'm intrigued to see, because the news that broke after this was that two of the members of Live, in Brooks and Bryson, both came out and talked to a media member today and said that there's a really good chance we see a Live versus PGA Tour Ryder Cup style event next year.
So do you think that this PIF deal, because I was going to ask this next, is going to make Live and PGA two different entities that coexist and opens the doors to go back and forth?
I don't know that it opens the doors to go back and forth.
Okay.
And the reason I say that is because I feel like from the team aspect of what Live is, I think here's the deal. I think the tour is going to have TGL. I think Live is going to have theirs. I do think there's some things that are going to have to be worked out, and I think that's what this taken. I mean, again, we were talking about billions of dollars of moving parts. It's going to be wild to negotiate, but then you have to talk about the guys that went to Live and took the bag. Like they took the bag of money, some more than others. When you talk about those guys that went and took the money, what do you do? And are they allowed to come in and play these elevated events on the PGA Tour that were designed for the tour players to compete with Live as guaranteed?
Well, now you have to look at it from this standpoint too, of if I'm on the PGA Tour and we've now, let's say, squashed the beef between the two tours and they coexist now. If I'm on the PGA Tour and I can get more money on the Live, then I think you have a bigger problem on the PGA Tour with why don't I go over there and just get my money when we talk about Juan Soto and just taking your money? Like, I think they're going to have to figure something out on that end, on how these deals work, how players are, how the tours are going to be different. And then you can have these crossover events as well. So that's going to be the next big hurdle to come over, besides working out all the financials with the PIF and the PGA and the PIF.
I also think I think there are 0% of us that know about this PGA Tour Enterprises or this PGA Tour Entertainment wing that is going to be the for-profit arm and what is going to come of that. I
don't think the PGA knows.
My guess is that is what Live TGL, because TGL is falling under that anyway. And then I think you see some of these co-sanctioned events, if we're going to call them co-sanctioned events between the players. I think that's where you see that all come together there. And I think that is going to be an interesting mix. It's all going to fall under Monahan. That was the original framework agreement, was that Live was going to fall under Monahan, whether people agree or disagree with that. So I think that you're going to see some moving parts that none of us, I think we're all going to look and be like, what just happened here? And I don't even know that 2025 schedule is pretty much set. I don't know that it's 2025. I almost wonder if it's not even 2027 before we see these moving parts in place. But that's where I think that you see the tour go in this direction. I don't think that there's going to be to me, to put together a Ryder Cup style event like they're talking about for next year. The only way I think you see that is a one-day, kind of what they're doing right now with this match this month. What's in 7 days or whatever it is on the 17th. I feel like that's the only way you're going to be able to make that happen. And with that, if that's the only way you can make that happen, it's not going to be what everybody wants, which is a 3-day event.
No, it's not.
Just trash talking and a trophy at the end of it.
What I'd like to see is almost have, like what you said, Live and TGL kind of be that like team league event type thing where you play in that during that season and time frame, and then have the PGA kind of stay the way it is. And then the majors kind of become that like crossover ground where you can go to both kind of what they have kind of been here. Some people have been left out, but I think you open that door a little bit more to let people qualify for that. But I think they're going to have to restructure some of Liv's ways, because it's going to get back into the world golf rankings and playing 3 versus playing 4 days. There's going to be a lot of moving parts that have to be negotiated and saying, hey, are you going to be this versus this? And how do we make it coexist together? And I think it could be better for golf, to be honest, in the future, because you could have a lot of different fun things that we've never seen before. But it's going to take a while to get there. And I think you're right. You're not going to see it in 25. You're definitely not going to see it in 26 if it's done correctly. I think 27 is the earliest that we kind of see anything. And I think 27, 28 is when you really get the core of what we're getting to at that point. So
I had heard at one point there was talk of like moving Pebble Beach to the summer and having that event in the summertime.
That's always been a talk with a bunch of different tour events, even before Live and stuff like that. They think about when to move stuff around, and that could be a part of this. I don't think that's the first part of this. I think the first part is kind of figuring out what they are. Because what we have said from the beginning on this show is Live needs to figure out what it is.
Correct.
And I think that's the CEO's biggest thing is saying, hey, we're going to be this moving forward. If you want these things, we have to do X, Y, and Z so that we can get A, B, and C. So it'll be interesting.
You're not wrong there.
And I think it's going in the right direction, but it's not going to be a quick thing. We all know that. So we'll see what happens.
Yep, we will.
With that, cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Heather, thank you for coming on tonight and talking Swing Scribe. Check out the discount code at the bottom. Check out Swing Scribe. Great tool out there, and we'll see y'all next week.
Deuces.
I'm really fortunate, man. I mean, having the opportunity to build something that's